Hi, my name is Matthew Moreira with Allocate Realty Group, and today I want to talk about what is a material fact. A material fact is anything that we would want to know as a buyer that would affect our decision to go through with the purchase of the house. Now, here in the state of North Carolina, it's required that sellers provide the buyers with what's called a residential property disclosure. And residential property disclosure is a list of questions asking about the state and status of things in the home, such as the HVAC system, does the roof leak, is there any problems with the plumbing system, the electrical system, so on and so forth. Now, it's required that the sellers fill out this form to the best of their knowledge. Now, there's some things that people might not think about that could be a material fact, but definitely are material facts. Some examples would be, is there a gun range close by to the house? Because that noise could affect someone's decision to want to go through with the purchase of the house. Is there an airport close by? Is there train tracks behind the house? These are things that could seem a little bit more ambiguous, but are material facts. Now, there are sometimes things that people would think would be a material fact, but aren't considered a material fact, such as, did someone die in the house? Or is there ghosts in the house? Things like this. These may sound funny to some people, but for other people, these are serious matters. But unfortunately, these things aren't necessarily considered material facts. Now, what happens if someone lies about a material fact? So I'll give an example of a situation that I've been in. I was working with a buyer. They were purchasing a house. It was a 1962 mid-century modern house. Very beautiful home. And while we were under contract, one of the things that they wanted me to ask implicitly is if there was any hazardous material used in the construction of the property. Mainly what they were talking about was there asbestos used in the construction of the property, which in that time was a very common material used for building a house. Now, what happened? We were under contract with the property. I sent an email, hey, was there asbestos used in this property? They replied via email, no, asbestos wasn't used. It wasn't, on the property disclosure neither. Now, we were doing a walkthrough, and during that walkthrough, they had left out the plans of the house that they've saved from 1962. And we were just reading through it, and we noticed that on the plans, it explicitly said that asbestos was used for the soffits of the construction of the home. Now, I took pictures, I sent it to the listing agent. It showed that yes, they in fact misrepresented, whether it be willingly, I think it was more negligence. They just didn't know. They were selling the house for their mom who went into a nursing home. But in this case, my buyers had the right to terminate the contract. They got all their deposits back, earnest money, due diligence. They got their appraisal fee that they paid and all inspections, and they got it back. Now, what would be a case where someone could lie on a residential property disclosure but not have the right to terminate? If it's something that's pretty obvious, within reason. So for example, maybe they left out that there's a big hole in the wall of the property. But if that buyer had the opportunity to visit the property, they did a showing, they saw that there was a big hole in the wall, they can't come back and say to the sellers, we want to terminate because you put on the property disclosure that everything was fine, and you didn't put on there that there was a hole in the wall. But the hole in the wall was something that you had the opportunity to see before you put the offer on the wall. Now, it would be a whole nother story if there was a big hole in the wall and it was being covered by a bookcase. And then that could be, either willfully or negligently misrepresentation. But it's within reason. So to recap, material fact is anything that we would want to know as a buyer that could affect our decision to want to go through with the purchase of the property.